Lady C, you
Yes,
ready?
I'm ready.
Let's roll it.
Let's do this.
Got off in town, resident on 70 Road. Got a nice wife and kids, y'all right inside the grove. You know I like Mr. Clark. Yeah, I should know he is my friend. Say if I just stay out the grave, he'll see that I don't go to the pen. Mr. Clark is a lawyer, he could lie stream. He's the first man to prove it.
Man, that snakehead blow up on the intro gets me every time.
Love it. Good times.
What's going on, fishy friends? We are back once again for the Crazyhorse Fishing Hour. How you doing tonight, Lady C?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm not going to say it. Well, I'm going to let you do your thing first, but I'm really excited about this one.
Well, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do my thing. We're really excited tonight to have Jim Cooper, a.k.a. Coop, from Heroes on the Water for the Maryland chapter. He's with us tonight. We're going to have a great time. Lots of great prizes. Good camaraderie. And if you're watching, you're supporting a great cause. If you're already here, you're already doing a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
Upcoming, next week, we had to reschedule Butch because of a scheduling conflict before. But Butch Huber from Real All-American Fishing and the Legion of Anglers will be coming on next week, followed by my man Zach, I mess your name up every time. Zach Ditmars of Fish Talk Magazine. And I'm really excited about that one because I feel like Crazy Horse has gotten a little bit away from kayak fishing over the last few years. I've got my head really deep in on the boats.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really looking forward to getting back into that and dissecting kayak fishing with my man, Zach. But without further ado, let's bring in my man, Coop.
How y'all doing?
Good. How are you, Coop?
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure, without a doubt. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share with the audience just a little bit about you. So Coop, you're a 21-year Army veteran, right?
Active duty, yes.
Awesome. And a lifetime angler, no?
Pretty much I grew up on the coast, except for the 21 years I was in the Army, didn't have a chance to fish a lot. But once I retired, I got back into it.
Yeah. It's funny, I'm former Coast Guard, and I don't remember ever fishing. So it's kind of fun. Not one person fished. So Coop works with Heroes on the Water, as Grant mentioned. I can't say enough. So I'm gonna bring myself in because I'm super excited about this. But Heroes on the Water is just a great organization, helping not just veterans, but first responders like police officers and their families. I read some amazing testimonies on your website from the families, and what a tremendous impact your organization has had on them. And even the founder stepping in when he was alive and helping a family in particular. And one of the videos we're going to share and how they were impacted by that. So the organization helps all these amazing people get a sense of their life back. A lot of the veterans may have been deployed overseas and unfortunately experienced some serious injuries. First responders, the same thing. And I know just being in the military how that also impacts the family. So Heroes on the Water helps them by sending them out on kayaks, and just really a therapeutic way to help these amazing people regain a sense of self. Now, I know that I've done absolutely no justice in my brief explanation of Heroes on the Water, so I'm going to give it to Q to take it away on that.
All right. Well, as you said, Heroes on the Water, our shtick, so to speak, is we provide kayak fishing events, or we use the sport of kayak fishing as a means of providing both mental and physical rehabilitation, healing, etc. First and foremost, to our nation's wounded service members, our first responders who have been injured on the duty, and their families, because their families are impacted just as greatly in different ways, of course. And what we do is we put these events on, we provide all the gear, lunch for the day. We make it as simple and as carefree and easy for them as possible to come to the event and just literally enjoy themselves for the day. Now, in the case of our wounded and ill service members, first responders, and their families, pardon me, the event is intended primarily as a means to help them rehabilitate, to heal, to reintegrate back into society. You've been with the Coast Guard. I feel sure you'll understand what I mean. When we come back from deployments and from a lifetime of service, whether it's lifetime or whether it's just a couple of deployments into a hostile zone, we tend to shut ourselves off even from our immediate family. There are things we've done, seen, been a part of that, you know, no person in their right mind wants to share that with the people they love. So we have a tendency to wall ourselves off. And it's very easy to take that a step too far. So this is what we do in order to help them recover. Now, our secondary mission, if you will, is we provide the exact same kayak fishing events to anybody who has ever served for any length of time in the military as a first responder and at their families. And in this case, we're doing it as a way of saying thank you for your service. Heroes on the Water, if you look at all the different veteran service organizations out there, there are a lot of big name ones. We're kind of a sleeper organization. We have only just recently, and I believe it's this year, actually advertised in the media. Whereas before, we never spent money on that. It was all word of mouth. If that answers your question.
Yes.
You might want to stop me because I'll keep rambling. But I'd love to talk about Heroes on the Water.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I just, like I said, I watched all the videos on the website, read all the articles. I'm going to get choked up. I'm sorry. It's going to happen. I'm probably going to cry during this.
We all do at one point or another.
Yes. What I like too about Heroes on the Water, which, I share in all the videos that we've done, how important it is, it transcends the kayak, it transcends the fishing, but really connecting with even nature around us is just therapeutic and kind of slows the mental train down. And you can really start feeling your feelings and reconnecting with yourself and having a greater sense of purpose. And actually the video we're going to show in a moment here, the gentleman speaks to a lot of that. And I love, even his transparency. I think he mentioned about feelings of hurting himself and where that led and impacts on family. So I'm not going to say too much about the video. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But are we ready to show the video?
Roll it. Yeah,
okay,
let's roll the first
awesome.
The story usually starts in April 13th of 2007. I was a passenger in a vehicle and hit 2 roadside bombs simultaneously. You wake up one day and you're broken. Your body's broken, your mind's broken, your emotions are broken, and you're alone. So I bought a shotgun, wrote a letter, and apologized to everybody. And then the phone rings. he said, hey, I got your name from somebody and said you might need a little help. And I need a little help, so why don't you meet me at this boat ramp and we're gonna go kayak fishing tomorrow. So I went, and we spent about 4 hours on the water that day. Never caught a single fish, and it didn't matter. I'm only here today because of that phone call. I'm only here today because somebody had a vision of stuffing veterans in little plastic boats and shoving out in the water.
Heroes in the Water is a nonprofit organization that takes veterans, first responders, and their family members out kayak fishing. In the last 12 years, we have served over 47,000 people.
One of the best things about Heroes on the Water is that you don't need to bring anything. You show up, bring your family. Heroes on the Water will provide the kayak, will provide the safety gear, will provide the fishing equipment. If you've never been in a kayak, we're going to give you some instruction. If you've never fished, we're going to show you how to fish.
It's fun for you. It gives you something different to do. It relaxes you. And you get to basically meet a lot of people.
I think the most magical moments I've seen are the events where we have young families there. And that's really what the organization's all about, is really, let's get the veterans and their families, including the four-legged family members, out there with the other veterans and the other veteran families and just enjoy each other's company and relax and have a great time.
My husband is a combat vet, and I was looking for an alternative therapy to deal with his anxiety and stress. I did some research online and came across Heroes in the Water.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't want to be around a whole bunch of people or have to socialize with everybody. The organization left it open. If I wanted to talk or if I didn't, it was okay.
I would definitely say it was the beginning of a healing process. That day has changed our lives forever, as a family and as a couple, and for him personally.
We're putting you in a plastic boat. We're kicking you out in the water. We're going to be there next to you. We're going to fish with you, and we're going to talk if you want to talk, or we'll be quiet if you want to be quiet. We're providing a calm, relaxing environment, and we cater it to what you need.
It's kind of a healing process. I mean, for people that suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome, people that are really withdrawn. You know, after a few trips out there, all of a sudden you see them more outgoing. You see people that never thought they could be in a kayak, never thought they could fish again.
I was at a mixer one night for another nonprofit when a man came over to me and asked me if I liked to fish. And I said, yeah. So he asked me to come out, and when I got out there that day, it was pretty amazing. It's always nice to be able to do things that you did prior to your injury. But for me to be able to get out on a lake, it takes several people for me to be able to do something like that. But once you get me in the boat, I'm kind of on equal ground. It's almost validating, you know, the fact that I do matter and that my daughter matters and that there are people that are there for us after all those struggles. God gave me another chance, and I just want to live as much as I can. I just want to drink life up.
I thought I was alone, and I'm not. And if you're watching the video and you're hearing my words, you'll know that you're not alone either. We're here for you. There's a whole organization out there, and even if you don't find it in kayak fishing, you know there's something there. You got a whole life ahead of you.
I think it's a first-class group. I really do. I keep going back.
Ladies.
Wow, that's really moving stuff, guys. If that doesn't touch you, I'm not sure what will. We always have, an opportunity for our audience to to win prizes. Tonight, we're sort of asking you guys to give back.
Mm-hmm.
We're still giving prizes, though. We're still going to give prizes. But it comes with a catch tonight, guys. And when we're asking you to give back, I don't know if you guys saw my post at an hour before this, but for anyone who, if you read the banner at the bottom of the screen, anyone who emails Coop at maryland@heroesonthewater.org and tells them you're interested in volunteering and types in this chat, I pledge to volunteer, you will be eligible for the raffle that we'll do either at the end of this show or, depending on time, we'll go live tomorrow and do it. I think we can do it at the end of this show. I just want to give plenty of people an opportunity to log in. If you know anybody, guys, we had about 10 people watching. We have 5 now. If you know anybody that you think would be interested in something like this and interested in giving back to an organization that's out there doing good, that's out there serving those who have served this country, get on the phone, call them, tell them to log in, share this link with them. Tell them this will be an experience that will change their lives. So the prize that we will raffle off tonight, let's get the lame ones out of the way first. Not the lame ones, but one of our T-shirts will be raffled. So that's the front of it. That's the back. It's the new Fishing Channel T-shirt. This one I think is really cool. It's a Heroes on the Water buff. Got a Heroes on the Water paddle, fish, heel. That's Chad Hoover's tagline that he says in one of the videos that we'll be watching tonight. That'll be a prize. The Heroes on the Water hat. And lastly, a tackle net or bag for the back of your kayak seat. All of these things will be available if you say I pledge to volunteer in this chat, and you also email Coop at maryland@heroesonthewater.org. And David, you're the man. Like, David, I know I've sung your praises before, but David Hall, he's already pledged to volunteer.
Thank you, David.
Michael Cool, we always appreciate your attendance on these shows and your participation. Michael Cool is also pledged to volunteer.
Right on.
So we have 2 people, and Anastasia and I.
Can you quickly? We both have also pledged to volunteer. One thing I'd like to say, we're giving away stuff, right? But, watching that video, I served during 9/11, and I remember hearing a lot of people talking about wanting to kill themselves. I mean, I've experienced that, if I'm going to be transparent in this very public video. But oh my gosh, I'm going to try to get through this without crying because it's hitting something. If Heroes on the Water, if I worked at a small boat station during 9/11, and we had to do operations and things like that during 9/11. If we knew, or someone knew at our station, about Heroes on the Water, the 3 people that, shared with me that they wanted to kill themselves, the time I felt that way when I was in service, definitely would have made a tremendous impact on our lives. And I know there are veterans that usually log in to our channel. I don't see them on tonight, but I'm sure everyone can relate to this. You don't have to be for military. You don't have to be a first responder. But everyone I know says they know somebody who's any of these things. And we can all relate to struggles in our life. And I think everyone who tunes into this also can relate to the power of being on the water and fishing, and how therapeutic and just transformative it can be, especially when you're having a bad day. If you can at least relate to that, I plead with everyone who's listening, if you can pledge to volunteer, because I'm sure Coop will also explain the importance of this later on. But without volunteers, this doesn't happen. We went fishing with a gentleman who volunteers for Heroes on the Water, and he shared so many amazing stories, not just transforming the people he's looking to serve, but in his own life.
Yeah, that would be Tim Taramelli.
Yes.
Tim Taramelli down in North Carolina, also known as NC Pierman. He has a Facebook and YouTube page, but a really great guy that does a lot of great things for Heroes on the Water.
It is. So I can go on and on and on. I get really passionate about this topic, but I don't want to steal Coop's thunder. But that's all I have to say about that. It's so much more than the stuff we're putting out. It's just not another volunteer thing. I volunteer a lot myself to do other things, but this is so unique, and it has a ripple effect. It impacts not just the families, but the community and the world at large. I think it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger the more people give. So I'm done. Thank you. So where are we now? I got a little sidetracked.
Well, Coop, what inspired you? You've been with Heroes on the Water since 2008. Is that right?
Roughly, yes.
So what got you into it?
Well, I had retired from the Army, living here in Maryland, retired out of Fort Meade. I had begged my wife. We had 2 small daughters, begged her to let me buy a boat like I used to have. Was promptly told no. But I did talk her into 2 tandem kayaks. We can each put one of our daughters in with us and we get out on the water. And they were both getting to that age, and she thought she went for that. What she didn't realize is that I was going to come home with 2 Hobie tandems, probably a bit more than what she envisioned. And so we started doing that, and pretty soon it ended up being primarily me going out by myself. And one day I realized, I could fish off of this, and rekindled my love of fishing from when I grew up. And that led into a couple of different kayaks to the one I've got now. But while I was doing that and trying to learn more about kayak fishing, because it is a real interesting combination, kayaking and fishing. And we can circle back around to that as to the benefit of how that actually benefits.
Yeah.
But I came across this online forum called Snagged Line, which I can't speak enough of. There are a bunch of really great people, fishermen, not only kayaks, but boats, etc. And in this, I believe it's grown to Delaware down to certainly Virginia, I believe, probably further, and inwards to Pennsylvania. Very free with their advice and information. Might not give you the exact location of their honey hole, but great with sharing techniques and all that and advice. But in there was this little notice, Heroes on the Water, sounded military. So I opened it up, and it was Tom Brown, who actually started the Maryland chapter and started creating and getting it going, and he needed help. And Tom is an awesome guy, still part of the leadership team to this day, but due to health and other reasons was finding it very hard to run the chapter. And so Jim Dolan, the founder, myself, and a guy named Keith Umberger talked Tom into letting Keith and I take over. And Keith and I ran it as co-coordinators for a good couple of years until Keith moved away, and I've had it ever since. But that's how I got involved with Heroes on the Water. I had did a lot of talking with Jim Dolan, our founder, who of course has passed away, but can't speak enough about him. He and a couple of friends had started a long time ago. I want to say 2007 timeframe. Kayak fishing. The war on terror had started. Wounded service members were starting to come back, And Jim got the bright idea, being in Texas and near Brooke Army Medical Center, hey, why don't we approach them and see if they will let us use kayak fishing to help out? And it really exploded from there and has gone across the country. And we are 100% at the chapter level volunteer. And we can't do it without volunteers. And even at the national level, we have an exceptionally, if you look at nonprofits, we have an exceptionally small paid staff. I don't know the exact number, 13 maybe at the most, probably not even that. So we are able to really maximize every single donated dollar directly into what we do.
That's great. And I mean, it's just so important. I mean, if you guys want to talk about impact that Heroes on the Water has had, check out some of these numbers. Yeah. Total veterans and first responders served is almost 55,000. Total family members served 13,725. And this is just staggering and awesome and gives you an idea of what you'll be supporting. Total days on the water, 3,329.
That's crazy.
One thing that Chad Hoover, who's a big supporter of Heroes on the Water, and actually as a participant many times, one thing that he said that really hit home that when I was watching some of the video before the show is the importance of taking these total days on the water and then making them regular events for the participants, so that your Army, your military veteran who's had a horrific event, has something continually to look forward to, has a support group, has people he can lean on, that there's not an event that happens and then he or she loves that event and then doesn't hear anything for 3 more months. I think volunteering your time is great, but I think what would be a really life-changing thing for some people is if you commit yourself to volunteering, maybe not every single event, but on a regular basis, so that these things can be more part of the lifestyle of these very important service members.
Yeah, for sure. I love the slogan here: paddle, fish, and heal. Now, as a counselor, I love focusing on the healing part, but as a fisherwoman, right? Anglist. I'm very in tune to the paddle and fish part. But talking about the kayak and fishing as therapeutic tools, right? I'm going to get a little counselor here. Can you speak, Coop, to how these are used as tools, as therapeutic tools? And what does that mean?
Well, try to explain that kind of about talking what it does for me. I get as much out of this as I hopefully give to our participants. When you push off on a kayak, speaking of the kayak aspect, you push off into, let's say we do still water. You're right inches away from the water. You're typically pushing off, especially if you're going to fish, right about dawn. So the sheer quiet and tranquility, really almost effortless action of paddling and gliding through the water. If you've ever scuba dived, it's kind of similar to that. You're almost floating. Is exceptionally tranquil and calming and really puts you at ease. I liken it to when I push off, it's literally like somebody opens a drain in me and everything that bothers me or that I'm worried about or what I'm having to face or whatever just flows right out of me at that point. And then you add the technical aspects of fishing, the tactics, the presentation, the competition, if you will, either with yourself or with some of your fellow fishermen. When you're talking about military people, there is nothing that you do during your waking moment that does not have some manner of competition.
Oh, I'm sure there's some healthy trash talking that goes on out there on the water. Right?
This leads me to my next point. What Heroes on the Water does, exactly what you just said, the trash talk and the military humor, if you will. What we strive to do is, in a sense, give our participants a unit to belong to again. One of the very things that whether you spend one tour or 20 plus years in there, the day you retire and you're sitting at home and all of a sudden it dawns on you, you don't belong anymore. You're not part of a cohesive group of people who are all concerned about each other. You may have your immediate family, which is awesome, and I love my family, but the military is just different. I mean, it's that rough humor. It's that no quarters kind of friendship that you need, in your life to live and feel like you have that purpose still. And that is what we try to do, is give them that unit to belong to. And we'll get our the first timers will come out, especially if they're coming from Walter Reed or the VA. And you can always tell they hang back towards the back. They're quiet, respectful, and they listen to what you have to say. Then we get them out on the water. About lunchtime, we bring them in for lunch, and you see that they've relaxed a little bit. They might even have a bit of a smile. And then they go back out after lunch if they want to. And then in the afternoon, when they come in, you see this big smile on their face.
Yeah.
And that instant right there is better than any pay I've ever received for anything I've ever done. You know that you are a go at this station. You are a success.
Yeah.
You succeeded in your mission.
That's great stuff.
To talk a little bit with people around them, and then they come back to the next event, or at least a couple more times that year. We have some that come out once. We have a lot that have come out once and continue to come out.
Yeah.
That's great stuff. Folks that have just joined that didn't catch the beginning of the show, Heroes on the Water is an organization that uses fishing, kayaking, and being out in the water and camaraderie as therapy for wounded veterans, service members, and their families. If you just logged in, we're really trying to make a push to get more volunteers. Volunteers are the lifeblood of this organization. They, Coop told me that they really want a volunteer for every 4 kayakers. That's correct, isn't it, Coop?
I'm sorry, say that again.
You want a volunteer for every 4 members,
our
right?
ratio. Yeah, our the standard minimum safety ratio we try our best never to break is a 4 participant to 1 volunteer on the water okay. Volunteer ratio.
So, with that in mind, guys, we really need volunteers to come out and make a difference in these people's lives. In order to do that, in order to be eligible for the raffle items that we have tonight, all you have to do is type into the chat, "I pledge to volunteer," and then email Coop, this wonderful gentleman sitting next to us, I guess, virtually next to us, at Maryland@heroesonthewater.org. Again, that's "I pledge to volunteer," and email Maryland@heroesonthewater.org.
I have a question, Coop, because we're talking to people who are fishermen here, but there are other things you can do when you volunteer. No, so who's on here? Zach's wife, if she doesn't know how to fish, she can do something else too with volunteering now.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. From a volunteer standpoint, when you go onto our Facebook page, once we get all the events posted, go to our events tab and you'll see all of our events locations, and you can click on as many as you want. There's no limits, no memberships.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say, for example, if you want to volunteer, what you will see are 3 types of volunteers. You'll see on the water or fishing guides. And that's a little bit of a misnomer, and I'll explain that in a second. Then you'll see ground support. Correction, 2 types of volunteers. So on the water fishing guides and ground support, because we do have people that just do not want to get out on the water, but they want to help. So everyone comes together, the volunteers. We unload the gear, we rig the gear, we line it up, get it ready. The ground volunteers then concentrate on making sure the ever-present liability waivers are signed. They also help with setting up lunch, etc. And then everybody helps to reload all the gear.
Right.
So there is a lot of good stuff for just about everybody that wants to volunteer in one way or another.
Right.
The other ways you can volunteer, maybe you can't come out to an event or something.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the year, we will set up info tables at like Bass Pro or whatever to raise money. We always need people there at those tables to help us do that. So there are several different ways you can volunteer.
Yeah, and monetary donations. I see on the website, a lot of the money goes towards, everything that you mentioned, the lures, the baits, money to help pay for going out fishing. It sounds like there's so many ways people can help if they can't, or if they feel that they're maybe not qualified to help people fish. So there's just so many different things we can do. And I'd like to repeat, because we're getting some more viewers here. Heroes on the Water is an amazing organization that helps veterans, first responders, and their families. I love "and their families." And if you didn't catch the opening video, please watch on replay. There are some amazing video testimonials on Heroes on the Water page and on our show here that we're going to play another one. How important it is. What I love about that first video, besides the gentleman who spoke in the morning and being in the beginning, and being really vulnerable about where he was mentally and emotionally, but also I think she was a police officer, and she couldn't even get in the kayak herself, and everybody came around her. All right. Ooh, sorry. Everyone came around her. I'm going to try to get through this without crying. Everyone came around her and lifted her up on the kayak. And she even shared herself that she didn't even think that she can get in the kayak. And this is where I repeat this so many times. It's not just about pulling the fish out of the water. And particularly in this organization, it's so much more. And the impact has such a tremendous ripple effect inside and out. I can't say enough and encourage people to volunteer.
It's about the journey, guys.
Yeah.
Could I add something to that real quick?
Yeah.
You saw that where they lifted her up. We routinely, when the Maryland chapter is fortunate enough to be co-located, if you will, in the same state as Walter Reed. Several VA hospitals, military clinics, and we have a long-standing, since the first year that Maryland stood up, relationship with Walter Reed. Every chapter is very adept at assisting those with disabilities, getting them into and out of the kayak, to the point of being self-taught and coordinating with a lot of adaptive sports therapists. And learning the correct procedures to help those that need mechanical help, just to do something as simple as hold a fishing rod. I just thought of one of the questions you warned me about is that will, at the appropriate time, remind me to tell you about the soldier who was a triple amputee, traumatic brain injury, and had a family, very young children, and just asked me about taking them out on the water one time. You're going to love this. This is probably my favorite experience I've ever had. And please let me tell you that, because it'll have the same impact for you.
Sure. Thank you.
And guys, I'm going to step in really quick. We're, hovering right around 10 people watching. Again, if you know anybody who served or would be impacted by this, reach out. This is not Anastasia and I or Lady C and I wanting viewers on our channel. This is trying to do something good and to, be a part of something bigger than we are. Yeah. I'll even say something else. If you're on here tonight and you know of somebody that you're sure that would want to volunteer a day, be it your wife, if you want to get your son involved, you can go ahead, just like I think Rashawn Hunt, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for logging in. Was on Stephen Cambo Trout's account, and he and Cambo pledged to volunteer. If you know someone, who would be a perfect fit for this, just put it in the chat. Yeah. John Doe pledges to volunteer, and we will include them in the raffle, as assuming they send Coop an email. Yeah. So again, guys, reach out to somebody, tell them what's going on here tonight. We'll still be here for another 20 minutes. And let's get some more volunteers. I think we are at, if you include Lady C and I, we are at 7 volunteers. Yeah. Let's push that number. Let's double that number tonight. Let's see if we can get up to 15.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
And, you're all welcome.
What's that, Coop?
I said you're all welcome, please.
Yes. And you don't need to be former military. I know we have a lot of people on tuning in right now are either active duty or former military. I think anyone with a beating heart, right? Because it's about caring for each other, and like Grant said earlier, really giving back to those who give so much to us. Again, not just military, first responders, and family members. Again, if you just tuned in, please watch the replay or go to the website, heroesonthewater.org. There's so many amazing great videos, testimonials on the importance and the impact on families. And in the first video, a woman talked about being married to a veteran and having to go through a lot of the emotional strain of what her husband was going through, and how I think it was the founder of the organization. Oh, I'm giving that away. That was a later video. He actually came to their house with gifts. That's the founder of this organization when he was alive. He just really hands-on, and the powerful impact that it made on their family. So again, it's just a ripple effect of caring about each other. We talk about this on our show. Other people who are on here and have their own shows, we talk about this, it's about the experience, about the journey, about connecting with nature, and also the camaraderie. But let's extend it out a little bit more to people that we don't know, who's not in our fishing circle, and really care about each other. Anyway, I could go on and on and on, but I think we're at a point where we're going to show another video. Okay, cool. This is really good. This is
a video that really features Chad Hoover, who's huge in the kayak bass fishing scene. Also a participant of Heroes on the Water. It's a little bit of a long video, guys, but it's, I mean, there's just so much deep content in this. I encourage you to stick with us through the whole thing.
Please.
So here we go.
As warriors and ex-warriors, a lot of us have a hard time, like, asking for help when we need it. Unlike the folks that knew coming out of the military that they had PTSD, I had put the stuff in a box and not really dealt with it, but more treated it like something that I didn't need to deal with. And the problem with putting things in boxes is eventually they get unpacked. And what happened for me is a lot of life things piled on around the same time that other life things piled on. There were times, without a doubt, that I seriously considered taking my own life. And it's not easy when you're a leader in the kayak fishing community, or you're expected to be a leader in the kayak fishing community, to tell people, you know, that you need help. You know, if you're a Christian like I am, and you've done things that we were part of in the military that you can't really rationalize as things that you should have done, and you kind of put it under the guise of I was doing my job, I was doing my mission, you have a hard time reconcile some of that stuff when you retire, you know? You get more into normal life, and you think about all the things that you used to do and realize what you used to do isn't that normal. You meet people who've never seen someone killed, or killed someone, or had a friend of theirs die in their arms, and realize that happened to you. And it's not normal. But we have a warrior code, and we have a brotherhood that we all decide not to talk about that stuff. We're told not to talk about it. For me, what's great about Heroes on the Water is literally watching people get on the water, get into a kayak, and watch that darkness start to lift. Watch the light start to come back in, and watch them start to change. The problem is, it has to be sustained. And the reason that I want to throw my entire weight and all the things that I can possibly do to raise awareness about this organization back out there is this: doing sporadic events from time to time takes that veteran, that survivor, that first responder, whoever it is that's had that traumatic experience, it takes them from the lowest low to the highest high, but then right back to the bottom. So we're trying to develop a more sustainable, recurring outings that get people out on the water. I'm challenging you guys out there, if you have some time on your hands, if you have some energy you need to burn, we need to invest in respecting the folks that help make this country great. They went out there and put their life on the line to be able to preserve this lifestyle that we have. Put some of your time on the line to go out there and help them get right, because it's honestly what it's really about, is that those guys come home and they're not the person they used to be. They're not what their identity is wrapped up in. They don't know how to provide for their family anymore. Their income is slashed, and things snowball, and things get to where the darkness is even darker and the burden's even bigger than anything I can ever imagine even having to deal with the, you know, seemingly perfect life that I had, and I was right there. You know, this afternoon started with bad weather and adverse conditions, but it honestly really don't matter, because it's called Heroes on the Water, and it's not called Heroes Catching Fish for a reason, because it's the water that's the therapy. It's the being there, and it's the who you're there with that's the healing. They've got a slogan: paddle, fish, heal. I reckon that about sums it up. So I want to challenge you guys to do this. Head over to heroesonthewater.org, look for a chapter. If there's not a chapter near you, consider helping start one. This is a mission that doesn't just change lives, it saves them. To date, in 12 years, they've serviced over 58,000 service members, first responders, and family members. And I think that family members thing is just as important as the member, because it actually makes that family that person is trying to live in fully understand what that person is going through, and it creates a more cohesive recovery process. But outside of the 58,000 that they've served in 12 years, over 12,000 of those have come in the last 1 calendar year. That means that the impact that they're having is escalating. Help me help them snowball that process to where there's as many people as we can reach as possible, to get them out on the water, to get them the therapy that my life has consisted of, and to get them into an accountability group that's sustainable, something that doesn't go away, something that's not lip service, something that's not just a 30-second infomercial in the middle of the Super Bowl, but something that's real, something you can touch, and a person that you can know you saved. I don't really know how to end this other than to just challenge you to dig deep if you can, whether it's with financial support, if that's something that you can do. If you're a company that's looking to have an opportunity to support this organization, do it. But if you're a person, the number one commodity that I can't donate, that Heroes on the Water can't buy, and that no corporation can write a check for is time. And we need volunteers to help make this thing go. Volunteers are the lifeblood of it. Volunteers, don't have to come from the military background. Teachers are perfect. Mentors are perfect. Pastors are perfect. Youth group coordinators are perfect. People who have experience leading. There's a lot of broken lives. There's a lot of broken people that need your help. I think that this is America's dirty little secret that we sweep under the rug or we put in a dark corner. So shine a light on it. Just do what you can, if you can, when you can. And somebody will love you for it. And more importantly, I think you'll love yourself for it, because it's the most fulfilling, rewarding thing you can ever do, is to volunteer your time to change somebody else's life.
Yeah, that's impactful. A guy like Chet Hoover, who's he's a big name and has a lot of sponsors and willing to make himself vulnerable. Just pretty touching.
Yeah, for sure. So Curtis James, he has pledged to volunteer.
Curtis and his wife.
Yeah, Curtis and his wife. Right on. Yeah. That was just a powerful video. I was reading an article about fatherhood, family, and fishing on the heroesonthewater.org website. I like what one person had to say. I'm going to share it. If you are suffering in silence, know that we have a family here for you. Yeah. We just need to know that you're there. We want to help you and your family heal. It's the least we can do to help those who sacrifice so much so we can enjoy our freedoms that we all hold so dear. Yeah. So much we take for granted. So much we can give back. And something that I think everyone who's on here will say that we all enjoy so much.
Well, Coop, I think now is a great time to share that inspirational story that you wanted to tell us. I think it's a good time.
It's actually a couple of, but the one that I hold closest to me, I misspoke before. It was a double amputee, but with traumatic brain injury, really needed a lot of care in every aspect of their daily life as a father, a former soldier, had a young family, and the wife contacted us, and they came to the vet. we got him out on the water. We had to put one of the volunteers with him, clearly because he needed the help. And we put the son in a single kayak right beside him. Son was old enough to do that. And so we got out there, and following our methodology, if you will, our fishing guide volunteers will help as much or as little as the veteran wants. And the wife had told me that in communication with her husband that he really, amongst all the other things, he really felt that he was a failure as a father because he could not teach and do things with his children anymore because of the level of care he needed and the disability he had. And we got him out there, and we got it so he was able to hold his fishing guide, but we helped him coach his son, and made sure we did it in such a way where the son was receiving the help the father wanted to give to him. And the son caught fish, and thank you. And when they came back in, the wife literally had to speak a lot for him, but she told us how grateful he was that he was able to feel like he was teaching his child how to fish and contributing to raising them like that. It was awesome feeling to be able to do that. The one other story, very short, I'll tell you, is we prior to COVID, we helped the Martinsburg VA Center out a lot. The Appalachian chapter here in Maryland as well primarily takes care of that one, and we're helping them. And one of the very first times we helped with them, the bus comes rolling up. They all get out there, and they've got veterans from the Korean War to now. And this one young guy, he gets in the kayak and goes right out to the middle of the lake, puts down his paddle, and he lays back, and he just sits there. He doesn't fish, literally doesn't move the whole day. At one point, he literally lays the seat back and goes to sleep. And I would keep going by and checking on him. Hey, you doing okay? Oh, yeah, I'm fine. You need any help? No, I'm good. Let me know if I can do anything with that kind of stuff. Because I was really, I just knew that he was not having a good time. And I was racking my brain trying to figure out how to make this more enjoyable. And this went on the whole day. At the end of the day, when we brought them all back in, and I helped him land his kayak, as he's getting out, I took him aside. I said, look, I really would appreciate if you'd, talk to me and let me know how I could have made this better for you. And he looked at me like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. And I said, dude, you just did not seem to have a good time. And I really feel bad that I wasn't able to make it better for you. What could I have done to make it better for you? And hopefully you'll come back out again and we'll do that. And he looked at me, he said, this was the best day I've had since I was blown up. Don't do anything different. And I just couldn't believe, it never dawned on me with stuff that has happened to me that somebody would think of it in that manner and all that. And Heroes on the Water is so simple in execution and idea, but the impact that it gives you is tremendous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Coop. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. So what's next for Heroes on the Water? What do you guys have planned? Anything big coming? Events coming up?
Well, we just had our leadership meeting. We set our dates and our locations for this year. Starting on the Northeast, the howl season typically runs roughly April to November, and that's due primarily to water temperature. Anytime you hit 60 and below, as I'm sure you know, the risk of hypothermia really increases drastically.
Right.
And anything that or below really needs a dry suit, and the logistics of having enough dry suits, the maintenance of that to do year round is just really prohibitive. So we do our events in the Northeast here, April through November. So April 23rd is our first event we call it the Private Pond, and that's at the owner's request. And we always start and end our season there. And then each month in between, we have a minimum of one, many times two events. And then we're always open. We always get requests for, we call them specials. Here, at least here in Maryland, we do. That's when a unit or the VA or Water Reed will contact and say, "Coop, can you do an event just for our people?" And we will try and work those in as well. So we've got a very full year coming up.
Awesome.
And a very big need for on the water volunteers. And if I may say this about the volunteers, we are 100% volunteer, all of us. And we have volunteers that are military, civilian, grandmothers, surveyors, Boy Scouts. Boy Scout troops help us out quite a bit too. But we understand we all have families and jobs, and we cannot make every event. That's why I try to get as big a pool, if you will, of volunteers as I can, knowing that we do not expect you to come to every event and help. As many as you can and want to are greatly appreciated.
Yeah. So I would like to check, those that pledge to volunteer, I think we're going to be just getting back from a long fishing trip. We're going to be fishing down in Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, maybe even South Carolina. We're going to be just getting back, but I think it'd be awesome if everyone who pledged to volunteer, we all came out on April 24th.
3rd.
April 23rd.
April 23rd. Let me not give this information.
It is the 23rd. And it'll be posted on our, like I said before, you'll go to our Facebook page, you'll click the events tab, and that's where all the events will be listed once I post them. And then you can click on as many as you want and hit find tickets. There's no money involved at all.
We just had some more volunteers come in.
Eric.
Eric Packard, our good friend. Captain Brian McCormick, really good friend of the channel. My daughter, she doesn't even know it. She was just pledged.
Involuntarily.
She will be there. She's been on a kayak and she knows how to fish. So, we're making some.
But
some
you don't
good
need
progress.
to know how to fish to volunteer. We talked about this earlier. There's so many things you can do as a volunteer. It doesn't have to be for fishermen and anglists only. I think it was Curtis, him and his wife, which is really awesome. So bring your family.
Oh, Curtis can fish.
No, his wife. I'm not sure if she does or not. But what I'm saying is that you don't need to be a fisherman to volunteer.
You don't have to be, but you're probably going to catch the bug.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. Get pulled into it.
So before we get to the raffle, and we've got a nice little list of names here. I added my daughter. I really hope she doesn't win because that's going to be awkward.
Yeah, you might want to take her out. I think that kind of.
What does a volunteering experience look like? So for those that signed up to volunteer and pledged to volunteer this evening, what can they expect when they come out?
All right. So, like I said, if you'll sign up on our Facebook page for as many events as you want, this helps us with the logistics because we use this as a means to judge how much food we need to have on hand, because everybody gets fed and everybody has a good time. But typically, and don't want to scare anybody off, but volunteers typically show up about 7:30. The leadership team will already be there with the gear. We'll unload it. We'll rig each of the kayaks. Very easy process. We got this down to a science. Goes very fast. And depending on the venue we're at, whether it's salt, brackish, or freshwater, we'll pull out the appropriate tackle box and pre-rig all the fishing gear right then. We'll set up the tables and everything else. Then the participants will start showing up about 7:30, 7:45, sometimes 8 o'clock. We will have already briefed all the volunteers. Then we'll give a welcome. The event lead will give a welcome speech, like a minute, maybe two. If you're military, you will understand readily there will be a safety brief. We make sure that everyone is completely comfortable. We get a lot of first timers, not only kayaking, but fishing as well. So we make sure everyone is completely comfortable before they push off on that kayak. And then we get them on the water and we get them out there fishing. About roughly noontime, we'll bring them back in, serve lunch. Very relaxed atmosphere, fun atmosphere. After that, anybody that wants to go back out in the afternoon can. And then roughly about 3:30, we bring them back in, because most of our venues, state, local parks, etc., it's our experience, most of them like us to be clear of the facility by 4:30. And they're almost always a day event. We are this year going to try a couple of overnighters, see how that goes. Those can be a lot of fun. We have a lot of locations that support us. Unofficially, Solomon's Navy MWR, they cannot officially, because the military and liability support us, but the director there is great about letting us get in there, put events on. Almost all of the state and county parks allow us to come in and use their facilities. And we've got some really good places to go fishing.
Oh, it's really exciting. I'm at the risk of repeating myself just because people are logging in that may be new. Heroes on the Water, tremendous organization to help veterans, first responders, and their families. I would encourage everyone to go on the website heroesonthewater.org. Amazing testimonial videos. We showed 2 of them. If you missed them, you can catch it on replay or check on the website. Testimonials from family members, which are really tremendous. Very important. The supporting wives, children, and extended family that support people on active duty, even veterans, first responders. Everyone shares in the same struggle. It's, we suffer together as a family. So everyone is equally important to support. And there's a tremendous video on the website from a family member and her, how she was impacted by the owner of the organization, who unfortunately is no longer with us. How he went to her house and brought toys for their children. And the children their lives are changed just from receiving those toys. So just a rippling effect of impact. Again, like I always say, it's not about pulling fish out of the water. I
It's
love
the journey.
it is about the journey. I love. There was a video you did with Cambo a while ago, and he had such an eloquent way of putting the connection to fishing and nature.
Mhm.
And there's an article on the website too, and talks about the power of the connection that we have that's innate in all of us to connect with nature and how it calms the soul and is so healing. So paddle, fish, and heal. Love that slogan. Paddle, fish,
If
and
I can say real quick, not only the videos that you can see on your page that you brought over,
Yep.
But by going to the national page, of course, you'll see plenty of videos.
Yes.
But if you'll go to the chapter pages as well,
Yeah.
all the chapter pages across the United States are pretty much the same format, and they will have photo tabs. If you, for example, on ours, if you hit the photo tab, you'll see photos from the very first event we ever did through every event for every year. It'll take you forever to go through all of them, but they're worth 1,000 words. You'll look at those photos, you'll see the families, you'll see the big smiles, you'll see the children catching fish, everybody catching fish. This is one thing we cannot guarantee is that you will catch a fish. We'll damn sure do everything we can to get you one. I will guarantee you'll have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone who logged in tonight. Thank those who pledged to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be really awesome if everyone that volunteered, pledged to volunteer, we show up at the same event and maybe go for another event another time.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's a great time to maybe give away a prize.
Yes.
What do you guys think?
Yes.
Awesome.
Matter of fact, we'll give away 3.
What?
Yeah, and this is my first time using this app, so
Okay.
bear with me. But oh wow, this is
Oh
interesting.
my gosh.
All right, but
Right.
everyone's name is on here, and I'm going to spin it and show it to the camera so everyone knows
This is fair.
I'm not cheating on an
Yes.
event for charity. So
Absolutely. Who is it?
Oh no.
Zach Dittmars.
Zach.
Zach, you will have your first choice of prizes, and we will reach out to you.
Okay.
Our second winner. Let's do this again. Our second winner.
Hopefully it won't be Zach again.
Oh, if it's Zach again, we redo it.
Yes. Is it?
Brian McCormick, our buddy Brian McCormick.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Hey Zach, since you're here, I'll throw up the prizes in a second, and you can tell me which one you want. And for the last winner of the night.
All right. Is it?
Cambo Trout.
Cambo! Yay!
That's great. So Cambo, if you're still here, you can let us know. But Zach, you are still here. So here's the prizes one more time. We got the buff,
Nice.
the Fishing Channel T-shirt. There's the front. There's the back.
Beautiful.
The performance shirt from Heroes on the Water, Paddle, Fish,
Nice.
Heel.
Love that one.
The hat.
The hat is hot. Yeah.
And Zach, I mean, you're a kayaker, dude. The back of the seat tackle net.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Zach?
That's
what do you
awesome.
want?
I like that one. You could also regift it and give it to Anastasia for her birthday in July.
Zach, what prize do you want, buddy? If you're still here.
Oh. We can always connect later, right? If he doesn't respond. Is he
Well,
there? Oh, there he is.
Wait, no.
Nope.
All right, Cambo, and who was the second winner?
Brian.
Brian McCormick. We'll reach out to you guys
Mm-hmm.
and make sure everyone gets their choice of a prize in the right order.
Mm-hmm.
But Coop, you're the man. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to volunteer. Lady C, I'm sure you're pumped as well.
Beyond. I have no words.
We'll
It's an
look
awesome
forward to having
opportunity.
all of y'all out there.
Oh, Zach's thinking about his prize, but yeah, I mean, you don't have to twist our arms to get us to go fishing. Period.
No, it's just an honor. It's been an honor to have you on our show. It's been an honor to talk about this extremely important organization, the impact it makes. It's been an honor to even sign up to volunteer. Just love everything about the organization, what you do. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. And let me say real quick, for those of y'all that signed in and are still on, I'm sure you're all over the state of Maryland. So know that there's the Maryland chapter, there's the Tangier Sound chapter, which covers the Eastern Shore, and then there's the Appalachian chapter, which covers Western Maryland and the West Virginia Panhandle. We all support each other. So helping one helps us all, but it gives you that many more choices of great places and fun events to go to help out.
Yay.
Thanks so much, guys. And thank you, everyone who tuned in to watch tonight. It's been a real pleasure, Coop. And I look forward to just fishing with you.
Well, I look forward to any chance I can get.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we will be, Lady C and I will be at the Pasadena Fishing Expo this weekend. And then
fishing trips.
We'll
be gone for a little bit.
Yeah, we'll be gone for a little bit. So you're not going to see this well-crafted set behind you for some of these episodes coming up. We're going to be on the road.
Or it might be on the beach. Yeah.
You know, if we can get some sound muffs for those mics.
Good.
But thanks for watching, guys, and catch you next time.
Got off in town, resident on 70 Road. Got a nice wife and kids, y'all right inside the grove. You know I like Miss Clark. Yeah, she know he is my friend.